Today I'm going to show you how I converted this table for 4 into a table for 6. This is our dining room table. It's a nice one. We got it from Target. It looks like it's cherry, and I know it's a plywood top, but it's just nice. We've had it for a while. It fit nicely in our apartment, which is a one-room apartment just outside DC. So we got it because it was just a nice looking table at a good price. Now, since we bought and moved into a house, it kind of looks small in the space, and not only that, but we want to entertain, and then of course we picked up some really nice chairs that we really wanted to have a nice table to go with. And so I got the idea to convert our 4-person table to a 6-person table. The first thing I did was go to my home center and have them cut up a sheet of plywood for me. My table is 42 by 42, and it has 3-inch rails or aprons underneath. So when I cut these 2 strips off of it at 3-inch wide each, it left me with about a 42-inch wide sheet left on my plywood. After you've got your plywood ready to go, you just start removing the top and disassembling your furniture. You're going to have to, again, not only take off the top, but take off 2 sides because you're going to replace them to lengthen the table. The 2 ends, which are other sides, won't be removed, so you can just leave them alone. Now once you've got it all disassembled there, the top from the bottom, you're just going to take the base of it, turn it upside down onto the plywood, which itself is upside down. It's got the bottom facing up. And be sure to protect under the nice side of the plywood so it doesn't get all gouged and scratched and whatnot when you're working. As I said before, we're going to have to remove the sides off of this to lengthen it, and that's what we're going to do now. So you're going to have to remove the corner braces and whatnot, and it's not that big of a deal. Sometimes they're glued in, sometimes they're just screwed in. And yeah, for me they were actually pinned with nails as well, but it ended up not being a really big deal. And once it all comes apart, you're going to be able to see it all disassembled, and it might be a little bit scary for you, but you're going to have 2 ends that you're going to join together with those strips of plywood. So you're almost there actually. Now comes the fun part where we're going to cut those 3-inch wide strips to length. You can do it however you want. If you have a power miter saw like I do, you can use that. It leaves a nice clean cut. You can do it by hand. The important thing is you want a nice, square, clean cut. From there, we just replace the rails we just removed with the new ones we just cut, cinching up the corner braces, gluing them, using screws and nails, whatever you had there before. Put it all back just the way it was before. Try and get a good tight fit, and just make sure it fits with an even space all the way around, and that way it looks like it was meant to be that way. And once you have that, you can basically flip it all over and it looks like a table at this point, which is pretty incredible. And you can go ahead and reattach the top using the same system that you undid at the beginning of the process. And now we're getting everything ready to put on finish, and this is mostly going to be sanding and doing any other finishing work. I used a 500 grit sandpaper here, very light strokes, not much pressure because I didn't want to go through the veneer anywhere. You can even use higher sandpaper if you'd like, but that was good. Then I added edge banding or veneer banding, and it's iron-on. It's very simple to do, and as you can see here, you just put it on the edge, iron it, and then you come back and you have to cut it off. There are special trimmers they make for it. You can buy that, or I just used a razor blade and then some sandpaper to make sure it was all nice and flush. When you get it on, it looks amazing, as you can see on this one side that's already done. Now you're at the home stretch and you're applying the finish. I wanted to match it as close as possible to the original color, and so I took the actual side from that I'd taken off the original table, I took that to the store and compared it to everything they had there. What I ended up doing was mixing 2 different tones or colors of finishes or stains, and I kept doing it in different quantities until I got something I liked. This original one was a little too red and a little too clear, so I kept adding the darker one until it turned out well, and I just layered it and layered it and layered it. It worked really well. By the end, I had something that was pretty close to a spot-on match from what came from the factory, so I was extremely pleased. Now it turns out that one of the products I had used had poly finish in it, so I had to use 4/0 steel wool in between to knock down any of the debris that had caught on it, but it ended up working perfectly. And here we go. This is the finished product, and I have to say I am more than ecstatic with this. Can you see what I'm saying about the finish? It matches really, really well. You can almost not tell. Yes, I can tell. Maybe you can tell since you've seen it, but guests, they don't notice. I can tell you that. Let me tell you, it's amazing to have a large table now. We can sit a bunch of people at it. We have company over, and it's not a problem. And I did it for about 65 bucks total in a couple hours of work. It was great. I'd recommend it to you. And I'm going to give you one more before and after of it. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really hope that this inspires you and maybe you can transform your own table. See you in the next video.